This is absolutely insane, as it seems like the Rangers are going to make a big splash this weekend, whether it be in the draft or free agency, because they have officially asked their captain, Jacob Trouba, to submit his 15-team trade list in hopes of offloading his salary. We're going to break all of that down, but before we do, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 80% of you watching our videos are not actually subscribed, and it's going to be a crazy weekend coming up here for the New York Rangers. Clearly, because now there are talks of officially trading the captain, Jacob Trouba. And we're going to waste no time. Let's get into the first report. It's official. Jacob Trouba has been asked, with 2 seasons left on his deal, is going to submit his 15-team no trade list, so the Rangers have an idea of where he can go. And of course, that is from Arthur Staple, who first had it today. So it is official. It seems like Jacob Trouba could be on his way out of New York. Now, of course, they're going to have to find suitable trade partners for Jacob Trouba based on the remaining teams on that list, the 17 teams that, he would be okay going to. But it's still very interesting, the fact that they've asked him now and he is going to submit it. This does lend to the fact that they're looking to offload his $8 million contract. Again, it goes for the next 2 years, but the Rangers are in a win now mode, and offloading his contract can very much help them get to that spot. And there are multiple reports on this, and it's not just Jacob Trouba, but like I said, multiple reports and insiders coming together today to report on this, and it seems like he could be on his way out of New York. And now this was from Vince. Vince has been a great follow on Twitter as well. Multiple league sources who spoke to LOH or LOHUD.com, part of the USA Today network, believe that Drury is exploring trades to free up even more cap space, with forward Capo Caco and defenseman Jacob Trouba leading the leading candidate. So it seems like Jacob Trouba, like I mentioned again, the number one name here on his way out. And some Rangers fans, apparently the Penguins have interest. Again, take that with a grain of salt. Apparently the Penguins have interest, and a lot of Rangers fans are saying, good, maybe just get rid of Jacob Trouba, and you guys will find out very soon. A lot of Rangers fans have turned on Jacob Trouba because of his decision-making in this past playoffs. And of course, his cap hit. A lot of Rangers fans believe that you can do a lot with that $8 million. And you can. If you free up that $8 million, you can get a lot of really good defensemen. You can do a lot of damage in this year's free agency. Retool this team, come back next year, and win a Stanley Cup. So it is exciting at the same time. We'll get into some other quotes from some other insiders as well. Trouba has positive trade equity despite the cap hit, because the term is so short with 2 years remaining. Teams crave his intensity, leadership, and physicality. Are the Detroit Red Wings looking to upgrade their blue line, a viable option for the Michigan native? Of course, from Frank Saravalli, and this could be an interesting option for the Detroit Red Wings as well. And like I've mentioned in previous videos, Jacob Trouba is a hot commodity on the market as well, because he brings that physicality, right? A lot of teams are looking for a player like Jacob Trouba. It's just unfortunate the Rangers might want to shed that salary so they can do other things with the salary and spread it out throughout the team. So very interesting reports coming out today. And we have some other quotes from some other insiders. I mean, it's making the rounds today. I've heard that the New York Rangers are trying to move a defenseman. A lot of talk that Jacob Trouba could be the odd man out there. And of course, this quote came yesterday before it was even announced that they asked him to submit his 15-team no trade clause, or trade list, So it seems like this is happening, right? It's certainly looking like it's leading that way. Why would you ask this player to submit his no trade list if you're not going to trade him, or at least look at trading him? Of course, there's a world where this doesn't happen, right? Absolutely. But it looks like this might happen. And there was reports coming out yesterday from Snark Messier as well, saying that I have a feeling that Drury and co. will pull the trigger on a trade this offseason that will shock us. And in a previous video, I even mentioned that a lot of insiders believe that Chris Drury is not going to be afraid to make a big trade this offseason and soon, this weekend, and make big signings. Like, he wants to make this team better. He's going to be bold. And I think if you're a Rangers fan, that is exciting, man. That is super exciting. Like, this team was so close to a Stanley Cup, yet seems so far away. And it's like, what do? You can't blow it up. How do you retool? And it seems like he is ready to do it all. And I love people going crazy over any New York Rangers rumors this time of year, because we literally know that Drury runs a tight ship. Not much, if anything, is getting out. So I am, interested, because obviously the Trouba stuff has come out now, right? Like that he submitted his no trade list. But they do run a tight ship, so we're not going to know the details or anything leading into it. It could just be, randomly it's going to drop in the middle of the day, either tomorrow or maybe, at the draft. It's going to be very interesting. A lot of stuff has to happen before the draft still, and we only have one day until that happens. I mean, like today. It's going to either happen today or tomorrow morning, so it's very fun. We'll take a look at Jacob Trouba's some other quotes. Like I mentioned, I wanted to bring it back to Frank Saravalli. He has positive trade equity, right? It's true. A lot of Rangers fans have turned on Jacob Trouba in a way, but this quote really does it for me. I mean, he brings a lot of intensity. He brings leadership, physicality. He is a captain. He is the captain of the New York Rangers. So another team would love this player. I believe it. And I just wonder if the cap hit works for them, right? What goes the other way? They can make the salary work, I'm sure. You have to get creative, and, that's what you get paid for if you're Chris Drury, right? So it is going to happen. But my other question too, and I'll leave it to the comments as well. Who becomes the captain of the New York Rangers if Jacob Trouba goes out the door? My vote right now, personally, based on just vibes and who I like on the team, it could be Trocheck. He just works so hard. And I love that type of player, so maybe it's Trocheck. I know I'm going a little too far into the future, but these are things you got to start wondering about. Who's going to lift the cup next year if the Rangers make it back to where they were and take that next step? It's going to be very interesting. My vote right now could be Trocheck, but I know other people have their opinions as well. But the Rangers are in a very interesting window right now. Certainly a cap window heading into next year. You got to get Shesterkin signed at the end of next year. Or before then, hopefully, and you have to figure that out. So what's your cap situation looking like now? If you get $8 million out the door and you can kind of upgrade your team elsewhere using that cap, there's a lot of really good defensemen out there that are not going to make $8 million come this free agency. So that $8 million off the cap would certainly come in handy, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a crazy weekend here. It looks like Jacob Trouba could be on the way out. He has 2 seasons left, and they've officially asked Jacob Trouba's camp for his no trade list. Officially asked him, so he could be on the way out. Does this excite you? I'll leave this up to everyone in the comments. There are multiple league sources, multiple insiders confirming that Jacob Trouba and Kaapo Kakko are definitely in play right now. They're definitely looking at what is out there. That doesn't mean that they get traded, but it's looking more and more likely by the minute, honestly, with all this news coming out. So could be exciting. Seems like the Penguins could have some interest. I'm not sure how that makes sense for them. We know Drury's not going to be afraid to make a big move this weekend, so it's going to be really exciting. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is this a good thing? Do you want to move on from Jacob Trouba? What would you do with that freed up cap space? What would you like in return? We didn't even touch that. There's so much news coming out right now that we didn't even touch on the return. It would be a huge return, and obviously you're hoping that you would save some salary in that, and you can use the remaining pool of about $15 million without Trouba getting traded to sign Lindgren and Schneider and maybe a couple other good defensemen or even depth forwards in, which you're going to need in free agency. So it's going to be a really fun weekend. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.